You're tuned into Taiwan Grooves. Let's explore the local music scene. Greetings, and thank you for joining me today. Have you ever stopped to consider how important music is during movie scenes? Have you ever wondered how it's made? Well, that's why I'm once again joined by Belgian-Taiwanese composer and pianist Thomas Foguenne. So let us begin. Last week, we explored his early education, career paths for composers and film scorers, and the composers he admires. In this episode, we'll discuss handling creative block, working with multinational clients, and using traditional instruments along with some of Thomas's work. So without further ado, let's welcome back Thomas. We did mention challenges. Now, do you have a specific ritual or anything that you do once you don't know how to continue and proceed? You hit a creative block. Do you go to a lake nearby to take a walk?
I don't have a lot of those, but whenever I stop composing and I just go and have a walk or swim or a ride, when I get into motion, then ideas will flow. And so if I had a writer block, I would certainly do that. Just get on the move.
Anything, run, swim?
Yeah, running is maybe the best.
Wow.
Yeah. Or just having a walk but really just take a break, take a shower. Oh, okay. I have to get my paper because... and also one thing I do is not working on one project at a given time, but 2 or 3 or 4.
Right, so then you're not stuck just on one.
Yeah, and they kind of cross and you rest from one to when you work to the other, and then when you get back to the first one because you've rested your creative mind, so things get flowing. Yeah. So that's
very true. Maybe one idea doesn't fit here, but it just appeared that it happens to fit in there.
Yeah.
I can imagine just having like waterproof little writer's block in your shower, or like nearby blocks, hidden little blocks where you can quickly write down whatever.
Yeah. But the worst is when you get a sleep, because you relax and you get those alpha vibes. I don't know how. Yeah, and then you get really creative at that time, and you have to choose between going to sleep or getting awake and writing those down, and it's because you need your sleep, so it's a dilemma.
You do, that's true. But also, I believe that you have a really good idea. You just can't let it slip away. You just gotta get up.
Yeah.
Because you might not remember it the next day.
Yeah.
I do have 1 or 2 more questions before I ask you about your work.
Yeah.
Now, so Belgium and Taiwan, back and forth, I'm pretty sure you have clients from both of these places or even internationally all over. Do you see any, not negatively, but do you see any significant difference between working with clients from this side of the world and this?
I have mainly clients here in Taiwan or from the Taiwanese diaspora, so in Malaysia, in Japan, in Burma, in the States, or even in Belgium, but with a Taiwanese producer.
Oh wow!
Through a Taiwanese producer. It happened last year with a film called Slave Island. So I don't work a lot with Belgian team, but right now I'm doing it and I'm enjoying it very, very much. And yeah, there are small differences. The way they don't work during the weekend. which is something I spend too much time here in Taiwan, so I really don't do that. I don't do weekends anymore. Or the way they organize the whole sound post-production, which they have more people doing different jobs, and I like it how they do it in Europe. Although I'm not very familiar because, as I said, I don't do a lot of films there. But they bring a very good amount of energy and time on crafting the sound, which is something I want to do more, and which is something I I find very inspiring and very good.
So not just a business transaction, like you do your stuff, I do my stuff.
Yeah.
It's more like we do this
Yes,
together.
yes.
I see.
Yes, it happens here too.
Of course.
It happens here too, but I have the feeling I did a short film there. It was a French, and wow, they brought like the amount of time and energy that we put into that sound mixing was equal to what I experienced here in Taiwan with the best on the best project. So that was. Maybe that was an accident, I don't know, but that led me with that impression. Of course, the communication not happening in the same language and the references or the tastes. The tastes are different. There is trends. But there is some kind of internationalization of because people all watch the Oscars and they all watch the same shows, but there are different trends. So like in Taiwan, I did a few films, well, obviously with some Asian elements in the music. Here I'm working on a Belgian film, and I don't know, they asked me to go for those like very forgotten 200 years ago traditional Belgian children's songs, but in an ironic way. So of course those are specific and also very fun, a lot of fun, those researches and to put those layers into the music.
How about like in terms of, you did mention you have to dig in a little past now. As for working in Asia, did you have to use traditional instruments in here?
Yeah.
Did you have to find people for specifically that scene and all that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not often, but I did a few films using erhu or pipa or suona or lately Balinese gamelan for a few films, which I feel a bit awkward using because I don't know much about them, but then I do some research and I hybrid them. Like, okay, that sounds a bit like that instrument. Oh, let's put them together, and I do stuff.
Did you have sitar yet?
No, but I have a very good friend and very good sitar player that you had here, if I'm not mistaken, Yo, that plays so good. So no, I wouldn't, I wouldn't dare. He's so good at that.
He's a friend, of course. That's what friends are for. Hey, could you do this 30-second intro for? Yeah, sure.
It's so nice to work with really good musicians that are
I believe
in love with their instruments and they can bring so much.
Okay, so 3 Theaters in Borneo, Cat in Closet, Stranger Eyes. You did all soundtracks for that. Out of any of these, or even whatever you have done, can you walk me through and maybe describe the one you had most fun doing, the most challenging, something that we can like put a little clip of the specific one that you were stuck on, or that was like, wow, I have accomplished everything.
then I don't think I have one, but 3 Tears in Borneo was very special in a way that we recorded the whole symphonic orchestra in Taiwan, in Kaohsiung, and we did it also in a very short amount of time, and that was fun, that was exciting. Quite a few weeks without much sleep. Definitely something I will remember, and I'm looking forward to the next opportunity with that real whole big symphonic orchestra.
Yeah.
Cat in Closet was my first feature. It's a long time ago now, and it was for TV with a very small budget. I recorded that in Belgium with 3 friends in a garage. Not a proper studio. We were lucky it didn't rain because that would have messed with the sound. But it was a wonderful experience, wonderful musicians, and it was wonderful to work with Zhang Yingting, the director, who has now a big career. He had made big films that went to Golden Horse, and so that is a very good memory I will not forget. That either. And for Stranger Eyes, again, that's something I will also never forget. So many first time in that film. So the director, Yang Xiuhua, is a very important, although very young Singaporean film director. And it was the first time, actually the second time, I worked with a Balinese gamelan, so an ensemble of percussive instruments from Bali. And so it was mixing with electronics and with a lot of found instruments or DIY instruments and prepared piano and pans and pots, and it was also a lot of fun to make it. The highlight in that film was working with the director because he had a lot of inputs. He's still so good at understanding music and the way it works with films. So that was very, very... I learned a lot. I learned a lot working with him on Stranger Eyes. So yeah, those are very important films for me.
Now, do you still remember every track, specifically scene, everything clear in your head? If you just had to pick so we could give a little sample, kind of special deal breaker, key points to the whole thing, Is there any?
I could pick one of my favorite with you. I certainly don't remember all. Sometimes I
was wondering, that would be too much.
Maybe I don't have a very good memory, but I did that for. Okay, yeah. But yeah, maybe it's almost at the end of Stranger Eyes. There is a track. It's called Happy Birthday. It's a very emotional moment in the film, and it's a solo guitar piece, quite long, a few minutes long. It's not. And I really like the way it wraps up the film and brings elements and emotions that you're not ready for. And I think it's a very highlight of the film. I like the music for itself, but I also like the way it is showcased in the film. Although there is Li Kangsheng is speaking all over it, and usually it's not the best for your music to be showcased, but I think it works really well. that would be one. And also, it's very funny. It's because that piece wasn't meant for that film. It was for not a film I was working on at the exact same time. And like I just mentioned earlier, we were kind of stuck on that scene. I've tried already a few music, and then I just took that music that wasn't recorded yet, but I played it on piano, and I put it in the scene. It was exactly the good length, exactly the good vibe. I made it listen to the director, and was like, yeah, that is it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, those are good memories. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, can he remember all of them? Like I went through
No, of course
profile. There was
no.
so many things.
No, of course.
I didn't want to ask, like insult the question. Like, of course I remember every single scene. Like, oh.
No.
Oh yeah. As for titles for the songs, do you pick that? Do you make that? Is it given? And you based on the title, you kind of like.
I always pick them, but afterward. Actually, when the film is done. And hopefully you've been paid. The producer comes back and we need to make the cue sheet, which is a little paper with the name of the songs, the duration, and that's when we need a name. Before that, we don't need.
Right.
Before that, they are called M01 or T002 or
track 5.
Yeah, but at that time we need a name for the law and
copyright, everything. Yeah.
And so I come up with, sometimes I'm inspired, sometimes I'm less inspired, sometimes it's a line from the film, sometimes it's just a bland description of the scene, sometimes it's very poetic stuff I just come up with.
Yeah.
It depends.
On the mood. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so receiving numerous awards and nominations, let's say, for example, Golden Horse Award for Stranger's Eyes.
Just to pick one out of
one.
just
the whole show.
But I laugh because it's maybe the most important. Yeah, you just pretend you just pick one, but if you take it out, there's not much left.
That's how I wanted to make it sound.
Okay.
No. Just to give people idea. Yes, there's plenty of them. But do you think that this one gave you kind of like a little pressure, or on the other hand, it like motivated you? Like, okay, I really put a lot of work and I'm happy what I have done with this.
Curiously, when I got the award, I was more like, now I can relax. Yeah, so no pressure at all. Quite the opposite. And I don't think it changed much other than that.
That's good. Because, some people might have some pressure like, oh no, I now am this and I have to live up to it for next director or something like that. Like, they'll create a little bit of, I need to meet this expectation.
I think awards are a bit of luck, and so I was lucky to get that Golden Horse Award. I'm very happy and proud and fortunate to have that. And also it feels very good because I wasn't born in Taiwan, and yet Taiwan was so good with me. But no, it's some kind of, okay, I don't have to worry too much. I feel more relaxed now somehow, which is weird, right? But
no, not at all. It's very personal, and the pressure is probably we give it to ourselves after all. So it's
yeah. And I don't think it changed much either. Like I didn't receive a lot of phone calls afterward
But it's good to have it there. It's like a little credibility. Like people look at your website and like, oh,
I think
this guy has tons of stuff published and...
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. Yeah.
Okay. I think last 2 questions. Yeah. And one of them would be, give me your best dream projects. You have unlimited money. You can have 50,000 people in orchestra, choir, anything. What would you like to, any movie remake, any kind of soundtrack, what freedom would you do with it and what would you create?
Wow.
Budget and time is not an issue in this dream scenario.
But then, this is already the answer. Of course, I mean, this is my dream, is to have projects for which budget and time are not an issue. So to be relaxed with that, like, I don't know, I'm doing 1 film a year, which is incredibly low, and with a budget that you can afford to do that, or even like, let's not be too greedy, maybe 6 months, 2 films a year, and you have like a lot of time to experiment and to do things slowly and enjoy life also, which I maybe don't do a lot of lately. That would be great. And then working with directors that I admire. I wouldn't dare name them. Don't want to jinx the stuff. But Yeah, and you never know where it come from. A few months ago, Anthony Chen, which is a director from Singapore, so I admired. I've watched his first films. Just called me. It's like, oh, can you score my films? So wow, when that happened, of course, time and money weren't unlimited. Quite the opposite. But you cannot have it all, right?
Obviously.
Otherwise, maybe a musical would be great.
Okay.
That's something. But the amount of work behind that is crazy. I know that. I've never done it, but that would be great too.
See, that's another thing. Like, as you said, they will look at your previous work and then they'll be like, he doesn't have musicals in his portfolio.
Yeah.
But then again, you kind of would be the right person to contact.
That I'm not sure. But I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it. Yeah.
Have you tried reaching out to musicals? Or someone who's in that field and kind of like, hey, you know how to write lyrics and you've been producing musicals for a while, but you need someone who's like really tech on the musical side. Like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. No, I haven't done it. I don't often reach out to people. And when I do, it usually doesn't really works. And I believe it doesn't work much like that.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that people, when they decide which music composer they are going to use, there is a short window where they think about that. If you reach before or after that, they're not really available for that. They have 1,000 stuff to take care of. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should reach more.
Well, look, you're already in that stage where people reach out to you. So the next stage, I hope, and I'm really crossing my fingers, is the one where you do one film per 6 months, and you can take it slowly, can have all the tea in this beautiful island. Just take it easy.
Thank you very much.
One last thing before you go is any advice to future film music scorers, makers, composers, anybody who wants to be that, or you could inspire them, or your past self, what would that be?
Oh, my past self. But yeah, don't we all, when you talk to others, don't we always talk about to our past self?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have regrets, or maybe a lot of small regrets, but not like one big regret. And I would say just work on your craft. Be a good musician, so play an instrument or 2 or 3 and play them good and play them every day. Study a lot of different genres of music, including classical music, which is hard but so great. And if you're going to score films, just watch a lot of films and understand that as not as something, I should know some about cinema, but as a part of your craft. Understand films. But if you're into video games, then understand video games, or if you're into animation, then so it's huge out there. So we cannot know everything, and it's not possible. But be curious and always be learning. There is never a point where it's done. No. Always stay in that state of mind of being curious and learning and being educating oneself every day.
Perfect, Thomas. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Philip.
And that concludes our episode for today. Thanks for listening, and join me next week where I'll be interviewing a dream pop and indie rock band from New Zealand called Mild Orange. Bye bye.